What up, what up? Silver Days, good to see you. Heyo. Good morning, Galicio. Are we live on X yet? Let me check that out real quick. Shiba Boy, good to see you. Happy Halloween, everyone. Dude, it's so depressing. This is like the first year ever. Like I've done literally nothing for Halloween. Shellfish, good to see you. Taylor, good morning. Colin, good to see you. Dude, I haven't been golfing enough. I've been falling behind, Colin. Too much work. Too much work, not enough golf. That's what I have to say about that. BRM, good to see you. Piggy, get some work done. That's funny. Piggy, get some work done. Oh, you guys are great. Tomato Pete, good to see you. Golf is absolutely king. You're right about that. But unfortunately, I've been forced to prioritize other things. But that's just the way it goes. No, Shellfish. I haven't seen that yet. Oh, is this the Pennsylvania regulations on I did hear about this, but I haven't seen it yet. Oh, it outlines we'll jump into this for sure. Appreciate you sending that over, Shellfish. What's the news? What's the news? We'll get into the big news in a minute. One of the biggest pieces of news is obviously the Qatar National Bank. That's the thing I really want to focus on here. I think this is... So it looks like Qatar National Bank specifically is using XRP. I was going to tweet that out, but whenever I say a bank's using XRP, people get all mad. They're like, they're not using XRP. But it looks like, it does look like, based off this press release, that they are specifically using XRP. How's our boy John Deaton doing? Well, I don't think we know yet. I don't think we know yet. We got to see how John Deaton does when the big day comes around. Election day. Then we'll know. Good morning, Bart. Good to see you. Messi? XLM and Coinbase partnership? I haven't seen that. If you want to point me in the direction of where that is, would love to cover it. So it looks like there's definitely some FUD. Mickle, what was your Halloween costume? Dude, I didn't have one. I'm telling you, this is like the first year in forever. I literally just like had nothing going on Halloween. Like literally just worked all night. So I guess that's the fun of being an adult. Although I always had the worst Halloween costumes. Always had the worst Halloween costumes. I was like a pirate like every single year all through high school and college. The same exact costume. I was Gary Gensler for Halloween, yeah. Immutable X got sued on Halloween. Do you guys see that? Immutable X got hit with the next big SEC case. Guys, make sure if you're over on X, you give this stream a retweet. Would really appreciate that. If you're over on YouTube, just drop a like on the stream. Two very simple things are really going to help me out a lot. So thank you to everyone who takes the time to do that. We got about 200 people on X. We could definitely jump that up much, much higher. So appreciate everyone who goes out of their way to drop a retweet on X. Buyer's market, I completely agree. It's an interesting time right now. It's like there's still a lot of FUD in the market, but to me, it seems like everything's paving out pretty nicely for a very interesting week next week. Oh, XLM futures on Coinbase. Interesting. That's good to know. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Warren is up in polls by 22. John needs a miracle, but you never know. Yeah, but wasn't John didn't John destroy the Republican primary polls as well? I remember John was a big underdog or not an underdog, but not predicted to win the Republican primary polls. I think that's what it's called either. And then he ended up vastly outperforming. So who knows? We'll see. Jay Clayton could possibly be the next Treasury Secretary. Oh, man. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. That would be a nightmare. Let me see that. Oh, hold on.
And finally, let's look at the labor force participation rate. 62.7 expected, 62.7 in the rearview mirror, but it comes in participation light, 62.6, which equals where we were in June. To find a lighter number, you have to go to the month before that to May. And finally, the underemployment rate. 4.1 is called U3. That's the normal employment rate we use in all data. The underemployment rate, known as U6, comes in at 7.7, where it was last month. To find a higher number, you'd have to go to August when it was 7.9. So we have made some progress there. The market's very volatile. We've seen a trade close to 432. We've seen a trade down around 423. Those are, of course, in 10-year yields. It's currently trading at 425 and change. Do keep in mind that it closed last week at 424, so it's still...
Dude, that's so annoying. What the heck? Man, like, I don't understand why I have to deal with this. But,
prior to the number.
That's crazy. That is crazy. There's no reason that should not be working. That is just ridiculous. All right, well, I'll do it manually because apparently this just has to make my life as difficult as possible. So, August was revised down. Private payrolls were down. So numbers were a little weaker than expected. Unemployment rate was 4.1%. Pretty much on par. Okay, so numbers were just slightly weak on unemployment. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, this is a new fun development that I get to deal with. Sound randomly not working. Well, that's all right. Yeah, I got it. I don't know why that's happening. It seems to be a Streamlabs glitch. So they don't want us to know the data. That's all right. It's nothing that overly interesting anyway. Unemployment came in pretty much in line. And then on top of that, we have essentially, you'll never guess which previous month were revised. So they were revised a couple months down. So numbers are just weaker than expected, which I think is a good sign ultimately for rate cuts, which essentially what we've been looking for anyway. Oh yeah, Max, we're definitely loving the threads. Those are awesome. Those threads are great. Ja2 says you did an entire video that was wrong. You didn't take it down. Don't care. What video that was wrong? Was it the one where I if you're talking about where I mistook the... Oh god, Taylor's gonna give me crap again. God, I forget. The class action case out of California. I thought that was the Ripple SEC case. Yeah, I definitely looked at the wrong filing there. It was absolutely the wrong filing. But the reason why I kept up the video was because all the points I was making, I thought were still valid. The whole point of the video wasn't necessarily about that specific filing. It's just that I didn't think there was going to be a settlement until Gary Gensler had left the SEC. So, you're absolutely right. That was an incorrect document. And I tried to make that clear on the live stream the next morning. But what's important is that wasn't really the concept of what the video was about. If I made the video all about like, oh, there's definitely going to be a settlement prior to this date, like, yeah, then I absolutely would have taken the video down. But the whole video was about how there wouldn't be a settlement prior to that date. So I thought it was still valuable, at least in understanding that nothing changes until Gary Gensler leaves. But open to interpretation. XP Market, good to see you. Appreciate you for stopping in. So mad that my volume isn't working. Oh. Like, I guess I just have to start testing that out before every time I go live. The problem is I go live at the last second every morning, so I never actually test to make sure anything's working. I guess that would be smart. I guess that would be the prudent thing to do. Next time. I could try... Oh, that could be dangerous. I could try a quick unplug and plug back in. That could be really dangerous. I don't think I'm going to do that. That's too dangerous. Price Oracle goes live tonight. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. It's cool to see how fast things are innovating. Check dropout if I can. What do you want me to check dropout? Is it just drop? Is drop plummeting? Oh no, drop is holding to where it is. Nothing much is interesting happened in my opinion in a lot of those top memes, so not much to cover there. Drop kind of needs to find a bottom and do a reversal. Time for a house production assistant. Yeah, I need someone to come over here and just set up my stream. That's Brad told me a few weeks at Swell. I need Max to come over here and fix my freaking streaming setup. That's what I need. You hear that, Max? I need you to come fix this mess I have going on so my volume works. I actually think I know why. Okay, let me just see something real quick. Guys, I know this isn't going to work, so you don't have to tell me 10,000 times that there's no volume. So, telling us about the economy and markets. Well, first of all, I think it says all right. Well, now I know what software's messing it up. So, okay, of course it's this. Of course it's this. Why are you not reading it? Should I do something risky? Really don't need to. Nah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. I don't need to listen to CNBC this morning. I at least I know it's doing it now. I do know what's doing it, so I can be more diligent about checking that from now on. So what else is going on with our favorite XRP? Nothing's really going on for XRP itself. I don't think we haven't covered the Qatar news, so let me cover that. We'll cover the Qatar news real quick, guys. Before we cover the Qatar news, make sure to smash the like button. Really appreciate everyone doing that, and give this stream a retweet. Super, super helpful. We'll jump into the Qatar news. I think it's a big slap in the face to a lot of the fudders. They're going to have a hard time seeing this. Especially Nodi. Nodi was huge on banks don't use XRP, and this is funny. So Nodi was specifically stating that banks don't use XRP. Do you guys remember that whole debate I had where I was essentially being told that banks don't use XRP? Thanks, Gary. Thank you so much. Thank you for the love. That's like a debate I'm always in. Like, banks don't use XRP, but take a look at this. This is pretty interesting and kind of a slap in the face. No, Max, the thing is the only reason you can hear it is because it's the volume coming through these speakers. And then it comes into this microphone. So that's the only reason you can hear it soft. The problem is I have a mixer that pulls the audio into, oh. Yeah, I can do something. I can do something.
And cooling pretty rapidly.
You can't have it both ways. You can't say the labor market is great and the Fed should be.
Yeah, that would do it. That would do it. Yeah, there's something very complex that needs to be fixed here. Trust me, it's a disaster. Okay, we will leave that for now. Oh, yeah, I know that worked. Guys, if you saw how many things were going on here, it is so overly complicated. I can definitely pull desktop volume if I want to. Okay, so if anything interesting does come up, I do know how to pull it if I need to. I do know how to get it going if I need to. It's just not ideal. Good to know. Good to know. Not the audio source I want to be pulling from, but yeah, so No, it's all right. Thoughts on First Ledger? Mickle the DJ. Yeah, I need Mr. I. Mr. I. See, now I'm on it. Mr. I am on it now. I see your comments. So take that. I can't get on another Twitter space with you again where you're saying, oh, miss, you never read my comments. So see that, Mr. I? Read your comment right there. I'm all over it. Can't give me shit anymore for missing it. Which I'm sure you will. I'm sure you sent a comment earlier that I missed, and I'll still get shit for it. Banks don't use XRP, or the powers to be won't publicly announce banks are using XRP. Well, Nodi specifically keeps telling me that banks aren't using XRP, but let's take a look at this real quick. Right here we have Qatar National Bank has adopted RippleNet, and there is no correspondent banking. There's no correspondent banking involved. So we have Ripple transfer directly linked in Qatar National Bank documentation. And what's interesting here is there's no correspondent banks, and the customer accounts are open 24/7, 7 days a week. There's no way to do this, as I'm aware, without using Ripple and XRP without the correspondent bank. It's using ODL. It's using ODL. So this is a massive slap in the face. That's a massive slap in the face to anyone saying that banks aren't using XRP, because this should be direct proof that banks are specifically using Ripple's ODL product. So let's read this. Qatar National Bank has adopted RippleNet, Ripple's blockchain-based payment platform, to modernize its international money transfer services, offering efficient, cost-effective solution for customers looking to send and receive funds globally. Through RippleNet's infrastructure, QNB provides its customers the ability to transfer money across borders with the benefit of real-time processing speeds and reduced fees. This new service, accessible to QNB's branches, supports the exchange of 5 key currencies and has made it even more attractive by the absence of correspondent banking fees. A clear indication that QNB may be using Ripple's on-demand liquidity feature. Ripple's ODL utilizes XRP as a bridge currency, further streamlining the process. So I don't know what some people need to hear. I really don't know what some people need to hear. Schwartz didn't say, that's the thing. David Schwartz never said banks weren't interested. So they are using XRP and the price isn't going up. Should we be worried? Mr. I, you're too funny. No, I don't think you should be worried. I don't think you should be worried at all. The dollar only worth the dollar. I don't know what that means. Schwartz said they aren't going to come out and say they're using this. Come buy it for 50 cents. What? Montana, exactly. They are not going to go and say, hey, we're using XRP. Go get XRP before it's too late. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I think you nailed it there. I think for whatever reason, everyone wants to keep this under wraps as much as humanly possible. And I think some people have a hard time accepting the fact that some of this stuff just isn't going to be made public. Like, some people literally will not accept the fact that banks are using XRP until the bank comes to their house and like shows them documentation of an XRP transfer. Like, until that date happens, some people are just going to refuse to believe that banks are using XRP. We should be able to see an increase in usage on the chain, though. David, have you looked for that increase in usage, or are you just saying we should be able to see it? Because there are people who specifically track that, and we can see an increase in usage. Actually, Short the FOMO actually did a very interesting study on a lot of potential ODL activity coming out of India. And he actually identified that activity and attributed it to Ripple's ODL. So you absolutely can see the activity on chain. I'd say Ripple can use EVM and Bitcoin and gold and USDT legally till. Yeah, I think Ripple's going to get the clarity for RLUSD any day now. It's just coming down to the banking regulators in New York. They're probably a little slower than anticipated, but Brad can't magically figure that out. The economy slowing down on jobs is, I know it doesn't sound like good news, but is great news for rate cuts. Great news for rate cuts. Yeah, Max. Yeah, I don't think here's the thing. He was fighting a really hard point, and he should have never let me and Vet up against him at once. Like, he should have never let me and Vet go up against him at once. Like, that was a crazy call by him, especially when he didn't really seem to have anything interesting about Ripple and XRP. Or like interesting or new or something I wasn't prepared for. Like, his whole point is banks aren't using XRP, and we just talked about Qatar National Bank using XRP. So rate cut equals easy money flowing into crypto, digital revolution. Absolutely. Hydromage says, going back to the XLM thing, if you were a group of evil billionaires trying to rule the world, having 200 wallets with the money sounds like a feature, not a bug. No club head speed? Yo, Taylor. Whoa. Banks will use Sheev. So no, I don't think so. It just means no one's really interested in holding the token, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Guys, Satoshi ain't gonna reveal himself. I don't know how many times we're gonna see this. So let me tell you, if I tweet out right now that I know who Satoshi is, everyone's gonna go to that tweet and say, oh, look, we know who Satoshi is. And then I'm going to get a whole bunch of attention. And then I'm going to put out someone who I think Satoshi is, or Satoshi's not going to reveal himself. And then I'm going to get a whole bunch of attention. And for the millionth time in a row, no one's going to know who Satoshi is. So absolutely, I do not think that's going to happen. Mark Cuban with a massive unforced error. Mark Cuban is now walking back all over it. And it's so funny, too, because Mark Cuban just made a ridiculously bad comment. And it's funny how the mainstream media isn't picking up on this at all. But then, of course, if you have a comedian at a Trump rally, it's like the end of the world. So shows the bias, but we've known the bias is there. So I was wrong with what I said earlier. It looks like this jobs miss was very big. I was incorrect on that. It looks like this was a pretty big jobs miss, and it's pretty significant. So apologies for that. People are reacting pretty heavily to this with the revisions. It looks like this was, in fact, a pretty big jobs miss, and I think this drastically increases the chance of rate cuts. I found Satoshi. Yesterday, the XRP ledger turned on decentralized IDs. Yeah, and does everyone know why DID is so important, or should I go into that? If anyone wants to know about DID, I'll talk about it quickly. I don't want to get repetitive on it because we did talk about DID yesterday. So more than happy to highlight DID. But price oracles are important because it brings off-chain data on-chain. So say you wanted to build a betting app on the XRP ledger, well, you need to be able to say like, hey, did this football player get a touchdown, right? And that's what oracles are good for, bringing that off-chain data on-chain. So that's what is hopefully going to happen tonight. Oracles are going to pass. The reason why DID is important is say I build a sports betting app, right? Say I build a sports betting app and I say that you need to be 18 to use this sports betting app. Well, look, unfortunately, like the answer, blockchain technology can't just be a thing that says, okay, now sports betting is legal for everyone, right? That doesn't make any sense. So what DID allows us to do is for you to go through a provider to prove you're 18, and then you get a plus 18 check mark on your wallet. That way, if you want to go engage in sports betting in the blockchain industry, you don't have to go sign up and prove your age to every single company. You can just have a wallet that says, hey, this is owned by someone who's 18. So that's what DID is doing. It's able to attach a credential to your wallet so that if someone requires you to be a certain age, to be from a certain country, they can provide that information. And it's not showing your actual age on the blockchain. What it will just do is give a certificate saying, or give a marker on your wallet saying, hey, he meets this required minimum. So, hey, he is compliant for US transactions. Hey, he is not sanctioned. Hey, he is 18 plus. These are the kinds of things DID will allow so that when an institution wants to build a product but has to deal with regulators, they don't have to say, oh, sorry, we just stopped checking if people were sanctioned or not. Oh, sorry, we just stopped checking if someone was 18 or not. DID allows us to attach human credentials to a blockchain in a way that allows people to operate in these blockchain systems compliantly. Here we go. Here we go. Want to talk about this quick. Not something I necessarily want to talk about, but unfortunately, sometimes we have to talk about topics that aren't as fun. This is WTK, which seems to be having some massive issues. It looks like they've been constantly increasing the amount of tokens. It now looks like they're up to 10 billion tokens. Taking a look at some of the comments below this, it looks like at one point they were stating 250 million or 1 billion. That was 3 years ago ish. Now it's up to 10 billion. So it looks like Wad's chain is funding their project through creating more tokens. Like I said, don't want to like FUD anything, talk about any project in a negative aspect, but to me that seems like something to be worried about. And it goes back to something I've said on this channel a lot of times. It's like, hey, don't try to focus on all these tokens that are in the weeds. Everyone wants to find the next Ripple and XRP, but Ripple and XRP just haven't even become what Ripple and XRP can become one day. So like, why are you trying to find the next Ripple and XRP before Ripple and XRP have achieved what they can do? It's like trying to find the next Google before Google. Imagine looking for the next Google in 2000 and saying like, I don't want to own Google. I want to own the next Google. Well, like you already found it. It's like Google. Like you don't have to look any further. Like it's there. Like you can't, it's not, the answer isn't always like, go find this smaller market cap project and then, oh, suddenly that's going to provide more value. Like that's just not the way it works. Just not the way it works. You have to understand that the leaders in the space are the leaders for a reason. And as one of the debates Nodi and I had, it's like, hey, XLM is undervalued in comparison to XRP. It's like, yeah, you can look at it like that, or you can look at it as there's a lot more going on in the XRP ledger ecosystem, and therefore XRP should be valued more. In the same exact way, XRP should be valued more than a lot of coins below it. It's not necessarily that every coin below it is a deal, or that, oh, just because it's a smaller market cap, it means it's a better thing to invest in. What I've seen is most of the biggest competitors to Ripple and XRP end up not really being that big of competitors. And it's because the reason why they have a smaller market cap and the reason they're discounted is because they just don't have as much going on. They just don't have the network effect. They don't have the personnel. They don't have the money to pull off what Ripple and XRP are doing. So you can certainly take a bet that Ripple and XRP are going to get disrupted, but I think it's like taking a bet that the next Apple, right, was going to disrupt Apple in 2008. It's like, no, Apple is Apple. Something interesting too here. I don't think I covered this yet. There was kind of a lot of sneaky small news today. A lot of sneaky small news. Pull this up real quick. It looks like the SEC's argument to the Second Circuit. What's the DXY doing? Okay, we can take a look at that. We haven't done a lot of charts this morning, but we can take a look at that. Just wanted to pull this up real quick. It looks like the DXY is what was I gonna say? No, I'm not talking about the DXY. It looks like the SEC's next filing is due January 15th. I will be interested if we actually get to this point. I think things are going to change a lot when we have a change in the SEC. We'll see exactly what that looks like. DXY going down. Okay, let's pull that up. Let's pull that up. Take a look. DXY is going to be interesting. It's because of the weak job numbers. It's because the market is now anticipating more rate cuts. I am certain of that. This is going to be big for rate cuts. Like I said, bad jobs is good for rate cuts. Counterintuitive, right? It's like, why would bad jobs be a good thing? I don't think it really is a good thing, but it drastically increases the chance that we are going to have rate cuts, which I think is good for the market. All right. Well, look, I love when I pull up a chart and it just looks like what I want it to look like. Sometimes we get lucky. As you can see right here, the dollar looks like it might be at that local top. So we drew this the other day when we were taking a look at the dollar. I said, hey, this is potentially where we might be topping out here. And it looks like we are, in fact, creating some kind of topping out formation here. Because the narrative is about to change, guys. So what we had all going up here was, oh, the Fed's not going to cut rates. The Fed's not going to cut rates. Well, it turns out that all of this data we were looking at, right? All of the data we were getting from here to here, turns out that, oh, well, that was all just revised down. So all the data that people were saying or reading into, saying, oh, this is why the Federal Reserve is not going to cut rates. Oh, it turns out all that data was wrong and manipulated. So maybe the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates. So I'll tell you right now, the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates next week. And that is going to put a lot of pressure on the dollar, pushing it downward. That is going to put a lot of pressure on the dollar, pushing it downward. Is it going to cause this big collapse I have drawn on the screen right here where it goes to 90? Look, I don't think so, right? I don't think so. I think if the Fed does cut 50 basis points, it's going to make a substantial move back down to this $100 region. And we're likely going to be on the verge of something bigger if we continue to cut aggressively. It's going to be funny to look back on these days, 10 years, and think it was funny that you allowed yourself to get stressed over daily, weekly, monthly price action before adoption. Exactly, Taylor. Exactly, man. It doesn't have to be any more complex than that. It really doesn't. Such a good way to put it. Something I always try to stress as well, because I understand why it's hard, but it ain't easy. But I mean, the nice thing about the XRP community is like, dude, like once in a while I see someone in the chat like really just like not making it. Like once in a while I look into the chat and there's someone like just really down bad about everything happening. They're like, XRP is still at this price. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't wait any longer. Like, once in a while you see that, but for the most part, the XRP community is like just the definition of diamond hand. It's like, what's next? What's next? But if we didn't stress, Mickle wouldn't have a stream. Well, Roger, my goal is to kind of help people get through it, right? My goal is to help people get through it. It's not fun sitting on your hands waiting around, but if we can get a community together to, you know, talk about the wins, even if the price chart doesn't reflect those wins, and understand that on the other side of this, that we have a group of very intelligent people who all think we're going to be right. I think that helps a lot of people kind of go through kind of the FUD and uncertainty and everything there. And I think it always helps to know you're not alone in all of this. Yeah, I like, that's the thing about the XRP community. It's just like no one is selling. Like very few, like once in a while you get some FUD, but for the most part, like Mickle therapy hour. Love that Silver Days. Silver Days. The OG around here. The OG. Mickle therapy hour. I love that. So that's what's happening on the dollar. Maybe let's take a look at BTC XRP real quick. Oh, something's wrong. BTC. Well, I didn't type anything in wrong. XRP BTC. Ah, wrong order. I think I want the Bitstamp chart. Nope, I wanted the Binance chart. All right, so it looks like we're actually making it, funny enough, we're actually going upward on XRP to BTC right now. I don't know if this is the definite bottom yet, but we are making some progress here on XRP to BTC. So we got a bit of a wick coming in on this, and it looks like we're actually moving upward. So will be interesting to see how this turns out. Even the self-loathers can't sell. Oh my God, that's the funniest part. Even the people who want to complain day after day after day about, oh, the price isn't going, even they won't sell, which is the funny part. Like even the people who are like the most beat up, like even like the Bill Morgans of the world who just like every day are just like upset, like even they won't sell. Like I even like answered, I even like went to him on his thing. I was like, dude, just sell. Like just sell your XRP. Because I don't want to listen to you complain one more time about this. And even he was like, no, it like might go up. It's like, yes, obviously. Just so funny in my opinion. It's like even the people who are so bearish, even the people who are so down bad about it, even they can't sell. Yeah, Bill Morgan is brutal, man. Brutal. Look, I like the guy too. I think he provides a lot of good insight, but like, dude, no one wants to listen to you complain day after day about price action. Like he acts like he's the only one. Like man, it is like, grow up. Grow up. That's all I have to say about that. But like I said, I think he provides a lot of great insight on the legal front. I think he does. It's just like, dude, like no one wants to listen to you complain. No one. It is like tantrums. It's like, dude, we all see it, right? We all want the price to go up. Your moaning isn't going to do anything to change that. XRP Pirate said ARG. Oh, man. What is going on here, man? What is going on here? Not as many meme coin people in the chat today. Because the market's down. It's because the market's down. God, when drop makes a new all-time high, these chats are going to be crazy with the meme coin people. Oh man, it is going to be crazy. Scams got in his head. Oh my god, Bill Morgan has like nightmares about scams. Which is funny too. Whenever something bullish happens for XRP, he'll like tweet at scams, be like, "Scams, I thought this wasn't gonna happen." And then like the next day, XRP won't move, and he'll be like, "Why won't it move? Someone tell me." Look, I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. I do like Bill. I think he provides a lot of great insights on the legal front. I just can't stand the constant negativity, man. Just can't stand it. And maybe it's just because that's the opposite of how I operate, right? Maybe that's just because that's the opposite of how I operate. I am very rarely negative, very rarely down bad about anything. So maybe that's just a person difference, you know? I have nothing bad to say about Bill, but the complaining is just like tiresome. Tiresome's the best word I can think about. Tiresome. It's like, man. It's like when you're talking to a girl and they just like won't stop talking about something, like you just like, man, like, look, I know this is a big deal for you, but this could not be any less important in like the real world. Or like you just need to take this, like tell yourself that it's not a big deal and like move on. Like that's what I feel like it's a bit with Bill Morgan. It's like he's just waiting for someone to talk to him about it. Like, don't worry, Bill. Price will go up eventually. And I'm sorry for my female viewers watching right now. You probably could say the same thing about us guys. So I apologize to all of you who have to listen to me say that. Yeah, X is a nasty place, man. I love it though. I love it because at the end of the day, like even like the nasty shit, man, like it's just people like it's for the most part, as long as you don't go too far yourself, like I normally find it like people are there just there to argue to a certain degree. And as long as you don't take things out of line, I rarely find that things get taken out of line or taken too far. See, like an example of someone who just takes it too far is like Charles Hoskinson, man. I mean, that dude just like asks to be tormented on a daily basis. Like, I think he wakes up, I think Charles wakes up in the morning and he's like, what can I say today that is going to piss people off the most? Like Charles is someone like me personally, like it just doesn't bother me, right? It just doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like I almost have fun with it. I almost have it takes a lot to throw me off. It takes a lot to throw me off and like I think that's just part of the reason part of the way I was raised. Like I got raised with like tough friends, like we all shit on each other, like like you just don't get offended anymore. Like you don't get offended. Like after you get roasted by your best friends like constantly all through high school, embarrassed in front of people, like dude, like we were just brutal to each other. And we have tough skin because of it now. Like I can't get on the internet like on a live stream and have someone like say something to me and it's funny to me. It's funny to me because I've been through it all. Like my friends put me through it. We all put each other through it. Like you just can't be phased to a certain point. Like the things my friends have put me through, like I could have like stories like for entire live streams about the crap I've had to go through. And like I loved it too. Like at the time I hated it, but like I would look back at it like 4 days later and think it was hilarious. So like it's just a different breed. Like I feel like some people just weren't raised like that, right? Some people weren't raised to just be like, you know what? Like whatever, like this is funny and I just gotta get over it, right? Like some people just aren't built like that, and those people are not meant for X. Yeah, if you're from the Northeast, that's what you do. Absolutely. Like people from the Northeast are a different breed. I saw the funniest post once. It's like, if you're from the Northeast, like Like, it's so funny because it's all liberals too. Like, it's all liberals, and you would expect it to be the opposite. Like, you'd expect like all the liberals in the Northeast, everyone to be like, oh, like, I can't believe you said that to me. But like, everyone just craps on each other, like roasts each other. Everyone's on blast constantly. And then suddenly, like, they're all, it is the strangest combination I have ever seen. Strangest combination I've ever seen. I think deck screener should be any day now. I think deck screener should be any day now. You can tell though you can tell when someone like just can't handle it. Like when someone says something to someone and you just see them like totally like baffled. They're like, "Oh my God. He said something I didn't like." It's the cow. Yeah, you got a different kind of liberal from Boston versus from like a Boston liberal to California liberal. Two very different liberals. Very different. No, I love it though, man. You know, the difference in culture, even in the United States, and just how people react to things. Like, I love it. I love it. Even if I could disagree, even if I just disagree with everything about someone, like, I still love the differences. People are fickle, Mickle. Love that RPM. Election in 4 days. Give me your predictions. Oh man. So I think I don't like, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I actually don't think the market is going to be that phased regardless of who wins, Biden or Trump. I just don't. I think the only thing the market would be phased about is if Democrats had a clean sweep. If Democrats had the House, the Senate, and the president, I think markets would be scared. But look, if Democrats win and it's pretty much a stalemate on everything else, just the markets know nothing's going to happen. Like, nothing's going to actually happen. We're just going to get a whole bunch of nothingness, which some people look at as a bad thing, and some people say, well, things are not that bad right now. So I think the market will definitely be pretty bullish regardless of who wins. I think the only thing that matters in terms of the market, I think the only thing that matters in terms of the market is the Federal Reserve keeps cutting rates. Now, with that said, I think the cryptocurrency industry is going to be vastly better off if Trump wins. Vastly better off. Oh, yeah, Taylor. Look, here's the thing. Like, I'll give predictions, and at this point, I think people, like, I just like to preface it with saying, like, look, everyone else in here has just as good as a prediction as me, right? Like, I will throw it all out there, and I just want you guys to know, like, right? Like, I'll give you a prediction, but you guys are likely have better predictions than me half the time. So I just like to throw it out there, give you guys what I think, and let you guys roll with it. Who do I think is going to win? Man, I don't know. I really don't. I don't think. I think it's closer than people think. If I had a preference, obviously my preference would definitely be Trump here. But I don't know. I think it's closer than people think. I don't believe the poly market data at all. I think the poly market data is completely wrong. Because look, no one in crypto and no one on poly market supports Kamala Harris. So like, there's just no bets going into poly market for Kamala Harris. So I think that data is complete garbage. I think it's close. I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be bad for the markets either way, unless Democrats sweep everything. I think that could be a little bad. But I think it's probably better for business, better for the stock market, better for crypto, if Trump wins. Daniel, it's great to see you, brother. Great to see you. Yeah, well, Roger, you know, you just never know what happens on the back end, right? Like, you know, I see a lot of sus stuff in terms of ballot boxes, and I don't want to get into all of that, but you know, I wish it was as straight and in states not requiring IDs. States aren't requiring IDs in like half the nation. So like apparently I can just go vote wherever I want, which is great. Like there's a lot of stuff that makes me like if it was like everyone votes with an ID, no mail-in, then I think Trump wins easy. But like I don't know, like to me there's just like a lot of sus stuff going on and how it works, and like I don't know. Like I hope that truth and honesty prevails, but I don't think, based on what I've seen in America, I'm not necessarily always convinced that truth and honesty is the thing that prevails, and I don't think it wins. Like, I personally think there was 4 years to try to clean a lot of this stuff up, and not a lot of it got cleaned up. Like, we're going into this with the same issues we've had last time. So that's how I look at it. It's like, all right, we talked about all these things being an issue last time, and they're still an issue. And I don't think, I honestly don't know if, like, I think if it wasn't for Elon Musk buying X, and if it wasn't for Elon Musk taking Trump's side, like, that to me is, like, huge. If it wasn't for that, I mean, oh my God. Elon Musk is the X factor here. Absolutely. Elon Musk coming in and supporting Trump is the X factor, because there are a lot of liberals who are big fans of Elon Musk. A lot of liberals who are big fans of Elon Musk. Because here's the thing, like there's two things that really are on Trump's side right now, and that is Elon Musk and crypto. Elon Musk and crypto are going to be huge, because a lot of liberals were big fans of Elon Musk because of Tesla. It is a massive kind of California company. It's a tech company. It's just a very, very liberal group of people who are behind Elon Musk. And honestly, a lot of people who started off in crypto came from that same Silicon Valley-esque air out of California, and a lot of them were liberals as well. So those are a lot of two voter groups that the Democrats have turned against them. And I get shit for this, but I think one of the biggest issues the Republicans made is just not doing enough on the on how they look at abortion, and I think that's an issue. Look, I know a lot of people will disagree with this, but like being in the Northeast, I just know not a single girl, or very few girls my age in the Northeast are ever going to vote for Trump, because look, they don't want to have to, like, if they want to get an abortion, like they want to be able to get one regardless of where they live in the world. So I know not everyone agrees on that. The thing is, it's a big voter issue. So that's the biggest voter issue I see. I think if there's a different stance taken on that, just saying, hey, these, like, prior to a certain date, federally will support abortions, I think Trump would win hands over fist. But there's a lot of girls who that's the only issue for them. And I just don't think Trump is ever, or Republicans are ever going to get that. Roger, I agree it's a state issue, but like girls don't care. So like, I'm not saying the logical argument. I'm not encouraging the logical argument. I'm telling you what people think. Like, if a girl's living in Connecticut and she can't get an abortion, right, they're blaming that on the party who put it in the hands of the state. So I take the point, right? I think it should be a state issue. I agree. But I'm just saying that is a big issue. And I think if he does lose and 85% of girls vote for Kamala Harris, I think that's probably the thing to say, okay, well, we can continue to be on that belief. Absolutely. But that's a big issue for getting women to vote. And I'm just saying from what my experience is from talking with people in the Northeast, right? Just my experience from talking with people in the Northeast. Like, yeah, you don't find too many girls, and it always comes back to that. Yeah, no, I understand. It's a hard line issue, man. There's no right answer to any of it. I'm just saying, if 85% of the women in the world, or in the United States go based off that single issue, I'm just saying that's in the same exact, like, look, I can bring up it's the fourth most important issue, the economy, immigration, you'll be surprised. Yeah, no, it will be interesting for sure. It will be interesting. I would love to be wrong on that. I'm just saying, if you were to take Roger, if you were to take the first three, right, they all lean towards Trump. I think that is going to lead towards Biden. I mean, Harris. It should be Biden. Harris wasn't even elected. Let's make that straight. I just can't tell you the amount of girls I've talked to from where I'm saying who says, oh, I would vote for Trump, but this is the issue. So don't put it on me. I'm just reporting what I'm told on the back end. The fourth is a non-factor. There won't be a settlement in the Ripple SEC case until Gary Gensler is out of the SEC. There will not be a settlement in the Ripple SEC case until Gary Gensler is out of the SEC. Guys, with that said, I have to jump. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Next week is going to be a crazy week. I'm all for it. Going to be a lot to cover. Guys, appreciate you guys so much for coming. Van, you know, that's a perfectly fine statement, but you're gonna, when you come to the Northeast, man, you'd be saying that about a lot of the women. Guys, thank